Hello, how you doing? It's Phil Thatch, and I'm here on the gravel road that leads to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail in Hamilton County, Tennessee. And I'm shooting with my favorite rig right now. It's the Nikon Z8 and their fabulous 600mm f6.3 VRPF. It's got a lot of names. 600PF is what a lot of people call it. I started out this morning. The entrance to this gravel road is just right down here. I mean, I'm just barely on the road, and I started rolling up through here with my window down, and right here in this little stand of brush was a prairie warbler, which is a very reliable bird. You can easily find prairie warblers on this area or in this area in the spring, and I bagged a few shots of the beautiful prairie warbler, and now I'm going to head on up the road and hope to find some more stuff. One bird I have not seen yet this year is the yellow-breasted chat, which this area is usually really good for yellow-breasted chat, so maybe I'll find one of those today. It may be too early. It's still April. Today's like April 23rd or something along the lines, maybe 24th. I never know what day it is. At least I have the right month. A couple of videos I was saying it was May when it was April. But let's take a look at the prairie warbler shots from right here in this area, and I'll keep working. Here is the first prairie warbler picture, and you may notice that even though it's been through Topaz Denoise AI, as I always send my pictures through Topaz Denoise AI, it still has all sorts of problems, and that's because I was at 1/500th of a second. I should have had my shutter speed much lower because there was almost no light, and wide open at f6.3. This photograph is 25,600 ISO, so it looks terrible, but it is a good example of the prairie warbler that I saw this morning. All pictures in this video will be 600mm. They'll all be wide open at 6.3. Here's the next shot of the prairie warbler, 12,800 ISO for this one. Still way more ISO than I would like, but it was cool to get this shot of the prairie warbler singing its heart out. This is 1/500th of a second, and after I realized how bad my ISO was, I slowed my shutter speed down to 1/200th for a lot of the rest of the shots. Well, my prediction came true. I found a yellow-breasted chat today. It has started raining now, so I've been rolling around with the window just cracked enough to hear birds sing. And I did spot a yellow-breasted chat for just a moment. I actually spotted one way high in a tree and got a shot of it, but it's not very good. But I got what I think is probably an acceptable shot of a yellow-breasted chat just right outside the window here. And I didn't have my shutter speed too high like I did earlier today. But anyway, first of season yellow-breasted chat coming up. Here's the first of season yellow-breasted chat. This is 1/200th of a second, and my ISO is still too high. It's 5,000 ISO. At least it's not 12,000 or 25,000. Beautiful bird. I'm so happy that these are back. Here's another photograph on that same perch, same settings, 1/200th of a second and 5,000 ISO of the beautiful yellow-breasted chat. And now the yellow-breasted chat has turned in the other direction, and even though it's blocked by some foliage, I still like this shot, and this one is also 1/200th and 5,000 ISO. I'm continuing to try to find birds. I saw an orchard oriole way high in a tree, kind of a slightly immature one. Got a shot of it, terrible. I think I got a decent shot of a white-throated sparrow, and then I got a better shot just now of a yellow-breasted chat. So let's take a look at those. Man, I'm so happy the yellow-breasted chat is back. It's a little bigger than birds like the prairie warbler, the white-eyed vireo, the indigo bunting. It's a little bit bigger than those, but not as big as like a robin, and so beautiful. Here's the slightly immature male orchard oriole way in a tree. This is heavily cropped. This is 1/200th of a second and 500 ISO. And here's another shot in that series with the exact same settings. It was cool to see the first of season, for me, orchard oriole. Here's a couple of shots of a white-throated sparrow. These are 1/200th of a second and 4,000 ISO for both of these shots. I thought it was beautiful, deep in the foliage, but I was able to get a relatively clear shot, or some relatively clear shots of the beautiful white-throated sparrow. Here's a better shot of the yellow-breasted chat, and I don't think it's the same one. I was in a much different location, but I'm still at 1/200th of a second And for these, my ISO is 1000. I got a few shots of it on this perch. Here's another one with the same settings. I like that one quite a bit. And here's one more, and here's one last one. This one is only 900 ISO. I like the bird looking up into the sky, and you can see the sky reflected in its eye, so that's pretty cool. Way in those trees, I just saw a Blackburnian warbler, which it was cool that I got a picture of it. It was a terrible picture, but it is a lifer for me. So let's take a look at the worst photo ever of a Blackburnian warbler. In the field, I used Google image search and took a photograph of the back of my camera, and it said that this was a Blackburnian warbler, but I'm pretty sure this is a Cape May warbler, and this is heavily cropped. I'm on a 4K monitor, and usually if I click the button to go 100%, the image gets bigger, but if I do that on this one, it gets smaller. So this is a 100% crop of the photograph of the Cape May warbler. And here's another one in that same spot. These are 1/320th of a second and ISO 360. These two photographs of my lifer Cape May warbler. Right here in this location, I just bagged a nice male eastern towhee, which I hear them all the time, but I rarely get a picture. And today I got a pretty nice picture of it in this kind of brush area. Here's the beautiful male eastern towhee. This is a 1/400th of a second shot at 720 ISO. This is directly under the power lines, and they kill the foliage that grows under the power lines. So this looks like it was made in the winter with no leaves on these bushes. Here's another shot of that bird, 1/400th of a second and 640 ISO. And now the bird has turned around, and this is also 640 ISO and 1/400th of a second of the beautiful male eastern towhee. The females have this black area, looks chocolate brown on the females, but the males, it's black. And I love those red eyes. I love to photograph the white-eyed vireo, and I heard several of them this morning. I bet I heard 10 different white-eyed vireo this morning, and this is the only shot I got, and it is completely buried in the foliage. This is 1/400th of a second and 560 ISO. I also heard lots and lots of indigo bunting this morning and didn't get a single picture of them, so I guess I should be thankful I got at least this white-eyed vireo shot. Right there in that tall dead tree, I got something that I really wasn't expecting to get today. A beautiful pileated woodpecker. Let's take a look at that. There it is, the largest woodpecker in North America. It's the pileated woodpecker, and this one is a male. You can tell by his sideburn being red. The females have a black sideburn right there. This is 1/400th of a second and 320 ISO. And I got one more shot. I think this is my favorite of the two. This one's also 1/400th of a second and 320 ISO. I absolutely love the pileated woodpecker. It may be my favorite of all birds to photograph. And I was really happy to get this one because I haven't made a pileated woodpecker shot in quite some time. I got another warbler right here in this location. I don't know exactly what it is. Google image search thinks it's an orange-crowned warbler, but it doesn't look like one of those to me. I think it might be a palm warbler. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at it. Here's the warbler that my phone, when I used Google image search on it, thought it was an orange-crowned warbler, but I'm pretty sure this is it's probably a female palm warbler or a male not in breeding plumage, but it was cool to see it. This is 1/400th of a second and 800 ISO. And as I mentioned earlier, all pictures in this video are 600 millimeters and wide open at 6.3. Well, thank you for joining me for this morning of birding right here on the gravel road that leads to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail in Hamilton County, Tennessee. I certainly enjoyed using my Nikon Z8 and this fantastic 600 millimeter PF lens. Wow, love this thing. Hope you enjoyed this video as well. If you did, take a second, reach down, hit the thumbs up button. That helps me out a lot. If you want to see some more stuff like this, subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.